Tonight, when the sun goes down, you are going to do something your ancestors never could. You are going to turn on a light. You will scroll through a phone, watch something on a screen, maybe stay up until midnight or later without thinking twice about it. The darkness outside your window will mean almost nothing to you. It will be a mild inconvenience at most, handled instantly with the flick of a switch. But for nearly all of human history, that switch did not exist. When the sun set, the world went dark. Completely, absolutely dark. The kind of dark you have probably never experienced in your life. No streetlights, no glow from a phone, no ambient light bleeding in from a city nearby. Just the fire, if you had one, and everything beyond it swallowed whole by the night. And yet, your ancestors did not simply fall asleep and wait for morning. The real answer to what they did in those hours is far stranger, far richer, and far more important to your life today than you might expect. Here is where it starts. In 2015, a researcher named Dr. Jerome Siegel at UCLA did something remarkable. He traveled to 3 of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, the Tsimane of Bolivia, groups whose daily lives most closely resemble the conditions your ancestors lived in for hundreds of thousands of years. He gave members of these communities small wearable devices to track their sleep, and what he found turned almost everything sleep scientists thought they knew completely upside down. These groups did not go to sleep when the sun went down. On average, they stayed awake for roughly 3 hours after sunset. They did not fall asleep until the temperature outside reached its lowest point, usually somewhere between 9 and 11 at night. And they woke before sunrise, not because an alarm forced them to, but because that was simply the rhythm their bodies had settled into, shaped by millions of years of living without artificial light. 3 hours, every night, awake in the dark. So what were they doing? The fire was everything. In every society Siegel studied, and in every archaeological record going back hundreds of thousands of years, fire was the center of nighttime life. The oldest controlled use of fire by human ancestors dates to roughly 1 million years ago. By the time Homo sapiens emerged, fire was not just a tool for warmth or cooking. It was the sun's replacement. It was the boundary between the safe interior of the group and the dangerous exterior of the dark. Around that fire, something happened that shaped your species more profoundly than almost anything else. People talked. Not the practical, task-oriented communication of the daytime. Not discussions about where to hunt or which routes were safe to eat. Around the fire at night, anthropologist Polly Wiesner discovered something extraordinary. She spent decades studying the Juhwansi San people of southern Africa, recording and analyzing thousands of conversations. During the day, roughly 80% of their talk was practical. Complaints, planning, economic negotiations. The ordinary business of survival. At night, around the fire, 80% of their talk was stories. Stories about people who were not present. Stories about ancestors, about spirits, about the great hunters of the past, and the moral lessons their lives contained. Stories that placed individuals inside a larger web of meaning, connecting them to people they had never met and events that had happened long before they were born. Wiesner called this firelight talk, and she argued it was one of the primary forces that built the uniquely human capacity for complex social imagination. Think about what that means for you. The human ability to maintain relationships with people you cannot see, to feel connected to communities larger than your immediate surroundings, to carry the lives and wisdom of the dead inside your memory. This was not something that developed in the busy, practical daylight hours. It developed at night, around a fire, in the slow, unhurried hours after the sun went down. Your need to tell stories, your need to be told stories, your restlessness in the evening when you have nothing to watch or read or listen to. These are not modern habits. They are ancient ones. Your brain evolved to expect stories after dark, and when it does not get them, it manufactures its own. Now here is where it gets counterintuitive. Siegel's research also revealed something about sleep itself that challenges everything the modern world has told you about what a healthy night's rest should look like. The hunter-gatherer groups he studied did not sleep in one continuous 8-hour block. They fell asleep, woke briefly in the middle of the night, sometimes lay quietly, sometimes talked softly, sometimes moved around, and then fell asleep again until before dawn. Historian Roger Ekirch, working from thousands of historical documents including diaries, court records, and medical texts from pre-industrial Europe, found exactly the same pattern. Before artificial lighting became widespread in the 19th century, people across almost every culture described their night in two separate phases. First sleep, then a period of waking, then second sleep. This middle waking period was considered entirely normal. People used it to pray, to have sex, to visit neighbors, to think quietly in the dark. The expectation of a single, unbroken 8 hours is not ancient. It is industrial. It was shaped by the electric light and the factory schedule, not by your biology. If you wake up in the middle of the night, as millions of people do, and lie there anxious about the fact that you are awake, you are experiencing a mismatch between your ancient biology and your modern expectations. Your body may simply be doing what it was designed to do. Waking briefly in the dark, sitting with the quiet, waiting for the second sleep to come. There is also the matter of what the ancient night did to the mind itself. Modern neuroscience has established that darkness triggers a cascade of biological processes, chief among them the release of melatonin from the pineal gland, a small structure deep in the brain. Melatonin does not simply make you drowsy. Researchers including Dr. Sachin Panda at the Salk Institute have shown that melatonin is part of a larger system, the circadian clock, that regulates not just sleep but immune function, memory consolidation, emotional processing, and cellular repair. The darkness of night is not downtime for your body. It is when some of the most critical maintenance your body performs actually happens. Ancient humans spent those nighttime hours in a particular kind of darkness, firelight included, that modern humans almost never experience. Firelight is warm, flickering, low intensity. It does not suppress melatonin the way blue-spectrum artificial light does. Your ancestors could sit around a fire for 3 hours talking and telling stories and still fall into deep, hormonally appropriate sleep when they finally lay down, because the firelight was not tricking their brains into thinking it was noon. Your phone, your television, your LED lighting, these emit light in the blue spectrum. They tell your pineal gland that the sun is still up. Every hour you spend under artificial lighting after sunset is an hour your ancient biology is being quietly deceived into staying in daytime mode, suppressing the very hormonal processes the night was designed to trigger. Your ancestors lived in alignment with a biological rhythm your body still carries. A rhythm shaped not across centuries but across millions of years of nights that looked nothing like yours. So what did ancient humans actually do at night? They stayed awake by the fire for hours after dark. They told stories, long, vivid, morally complex stories that bound them to each other and to a shared history larger than any individual life. They slept in 2 phases with a quiet waking period in between. They experienced darkness that modern humans almost never encounter. Darkness that allowed their biology to run the deep maintenance your body is still trying to run tonight, even as your screens hold it off. And here is the part that should stay with you. Every night, when the lights in your home finally go out and you lie in the dark, something ancient stirs. Your circadian clock begins to correct itself. Your melatonin begins to rise. Your brain begins the slow process of consolidating the memories of the day, filing them, processing them, making meaning from them. The story your brain tells about your own life is largely written in the dark, in the hours your waking mind has let go of control. Tonight, when the sun goes down and you finally turn off the light, your ancestors' biology will take over, exactly as it always has, trying to do in the few dark hours you give it what it was built to do across an entire night. The fire has been out for 100 years, but the rhythm it kept is still running inside you.